For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise, and you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and I hope you're having a great, awesome, motivated, blessed, fulfilled day. Now, if you've listened to this show for any length of time, you know that I don't start with that kind of a pep rally chant or mantra, and I did that for a reason, because that's what we're talking about on the show today. And it starts on The Scribble right after this.
Isn't it crazy that you wait for payday, but before you know it, you're strapped for cash again? It's time to stop blowing your money and become a smart spender with the book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com. Learn simple ways to cut costs at home every day and during special times of the year. Don't go broke at Christmas. Don't remortgage the house for a fancy vacation. The book is filled with tips to save you money throughout the year. Check out the best-selling book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com or on Amazon and iTunes.
JB here on The Scribble. I'm going to get to our subject of the show in just a moment, but I've got to take us off track just for a quick second, because I have my retainers in. Now, the funny thing was, I've been on the radio for however many years, and then I had braces. I had braces while we were still doing our syndicated radio shows, but by that time, our shows were taped like late afternoon, so I had already been, going through the day, right? So my retainers after my braces, you wear them overnight, and then in the morning you take them out, and then you just go about your regular day. Well, today, I kind of slept in, didn't really do very much, so I've been awake for maybe about 20 minutes, half hour, and I have my retainers in. But why I'm laughing is because couples do the weirdest things, right? Okay, so one of the things that happened one time when I was out with my husband, I don't remember where we were going or what we were doing. The thing is that having retainers, like I don't really notice them, but when you're doing something where you're actually having to listen to your voice, right? Like it doesn't give me a lisp, but if you're listening closely as you do in radio broadcasting or podcasts or whatever, it is noticeable to the trained ear. And so that's how I realized what was happening today, just in that first 30 seconds of the show. So anyway, so I was out with my husband somewhere. This was a couple of years ago. And we were going about our day or whatever it was. And I guess I just didn't. Usually I brush my teeth even before we leave the house if it's in the morning. So I don't know maybe we were running late. I don't even remember. But anyway, point of the story is we were out somewhere and I popped out my retainers and basically just handed them to him. Where did we go? I don't know if we don't go to Costco. Was there somewhere that had like a food sample? I can't remember what it was, but again, it was just one of those things where you're like, you know what? This is love. Because, couples just do the weirdest things. We've had that too at a restaurant where, I'll notice that he's got, something in his nose or whatever, and I'll just go and I'll pick it out. And if we're with somebody else or whatever, and they're just kind of looking at that going, oh, good, you just picked his nose at the table. Lovely. Or I'll just notice something, maybe something like a fluff or something in his ear, and so it'll make it look like I'm, just ramming my finger in his ear and cleaning it. But whatever. See, we go through life. This is the thing. And it actually kind of leads into the topic of the show today. We don't care what people think about us. Now, this is the funny thing, because we kind of are in our own bubble when we go out and do things. We don't, truthfully, somebody that we know could be walking towards us. Perhaps we're in the mall, we're in whatever, a store somewhere. we generally probably don't even notice the person until they're, maybe right up close to us. We're kind of looking around because we're engaged in talking about whatever we're talking about, or, just, kind of going about our business. So we will do weird things or silly things or whatever, and we really don't care. And I think that's a big part of, one, what makes a relationship work, but two, just that makes you happy in life. And so the reason why I said about at the top of the show, now we'll segue into the topic at hand, is, to have, a motivated and whatever. I don't get that. I mean, I understand that, some days we're kind of sluggish or whatever, and we just kind of need that little push to get going. But there's just some things that I don't understand about the raw lifestyle. And I've got a whole bunch of examples, right? And I'm going to get to those because now I got to take another break. But I'm going to talk about the weird sort of motivational and inspirational things that people need to get through the day. It's a little bit strange to me. That's coming up on the Scribble right after this.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
JB here, back on the Scribble. Back in the day when you used to go to a store, you could buy posters. Do you remember that? It was like $5 for this. It would be rolled up in a tube, right? And you'd flip through. There'd be, they'd be on those, they'd be like stuck to a board, and they'd have like a plastic sheet over top of it, right? It would be like in a case, like plastic case. And you'd, doom, they were very heavy, and they'd clack when they would move. And then you'd look for, okay, this was B7. And then you'd look in the little grid, and then you'd pull out the poster, and then you'd get it home and you'd put it on your wall. And God, those must have been really good money, right? Because really, you're just printing a picture, and then you just print it and roll it up, and you sell them for $4 or $5. I had Sylvester the cat; that was my favorite one, and then I ruined it by cutting him out. So I just cut his outline. Yeah, I kind of ruined that poster. My mom wasn't happy because again, $5, $6, for those things. So one of the things that was on a poster back then was hang in there, right? There was that cat on a line. I don't know if it was like a clothesline or whatever it was. And it was this thing, this little fluffy cat holding on for dear life. And it was like hang in there. And so that was kind of the start of these sort of motivational kinds of things. And the reason why I thought about this was because I mentioned about my husband being out at the store. We were shopping the other day, and you go through the home section where there's like the decor and like the fake flowers and the picture frames and stuff like that, right? And then there's the little pictures and things. And so you see all of them that home is where the heart is. Family is all you need. Make today a special one, or make today the best ever. And you're just like, ugh. And so something like that kind of makes me groan. It's not that I'm a negative person. I'm certainly not. I mean, I've got such a blessed life. No, I don't know. I haven't had to go through life where I need to kind of get this, charge. I don't need to get, jumper cables in me every morning to get going. And so there's a bunch of aspects in life where that happens, right? So it could be in the morning where you buy those pictures and you have them up in the house. So it'll be, in the bathroom or in the living room, and, family's all you need to make today the best ever. And sometimes you even have them on those little flip calendars that you can, every day has a new, words of wisdom, new motivational saying on it. And again, I mean, if that gets you through a day, okay. But I always think those things are corny. You see them a lot. It's different if it's in a picture frame and it's, family, and then there's, just individual pictures of the kids or whatever it is. Okay, fine. But even those are a little bit pukey. But it's those ones like I was just saying about, you're the spark of the day and, bring the sunshine. And people have those on their desk. That's not allowed here, by the way. I got to tell you. Well, you'd be ridiculed. You'd be mocked all to hell, so you probably wouldn't last here for very long. We're kind of a cynical bunch. No, really. I mean, see, this is where people are going to say, oh my God, you're a terrible employer. No, here's the thing. We come in, and I've said this many times, we've all worked together for almost 20 years. Seriously. Bonnie is our executive producer. We worked together at a publishing company over 20 years ago. Even then, when we worked together, we'd have the morning meetings with our editorial team or whatever it was, and we did not need the big rah, okay, let's go. All right, let's do it. So when I have worked in offices where that's been the case, there was somewhere where I was brought in to do, they wanted a corporate writer. It was a job that they'd never had before. And see, for me, I was always very fortunate because when I was in local media, more than I am now, people would, reach out and just offer me opportunities, mostly contract work, I think, because people realized that I wasn't going to do a full-time job because of what I was already doing with my own company. So I was brought in because they wanted a corporate writer. They wanted a style guide for how things should be written and whatever. So I come in for a few months to kind of get things set up and going. And so I had to join the marketing department, right? Because that's where this would be. And so there was one of the graphic designers. She was just so neurotic about it. She'd print out pages of whatever they were publishing or working on. And she would literally be with a ruler on the ground, like hands and knees in her little workstation and measuring the pages and the margins and whatever. And I just remember thinking, oh my God, I don't know if it's OCD or I don't know what the hell her problem is, and nobody could stand her. Like nobody liked her because she was just like that. And so, she was in charge of the graphic designers. I was a writer. I was doing, I was figuring out their corporate structure and creating a style guide and kind of working with other teams and getting them on a consistent sort of, structure of writing. This is how things are written. These are the styles that you use, be consistent, whatever. So, she kind of pushed her way into, or maybe even clawed me into her group, which again, I had nothing really to do with graphic designers. So she would want to do this meeting every morning. She called it stand-up. So I'm one of those people who, as a writer, I kind of need to ease into the day. I can't just... I talked about this on the show the other week, where writing is not just like flipping a switch. I can't just come in at 8 o'clock and go, okay, I'm writing a newspaper column right now. Okay, no. Editing or whatever, sure, you can start that. But I'm saying to do creative writing, that's not something. You kind of have to get into a groove. You got to feel a vibe. You got to be comfy. You got to just sort of do it. So she would want to do this, first thing in the morning. And I'm one of those people in an office. My team knows that, which again, we don't even really start until like 10:30 in the morning some days. That's when we roll in. And then, so she wanted to go, so you had to kind of stand around this like pillar in the pole that was kind of near her desk. And she would have I think there was three graphic designers and then like a marketing assistant kind of person. And so every morning you'd have to come and do stand up time, stand up. And it's like, oh my God, I fucking hate hearing this. So she would have her little like piece of paper and she would kind of make notes and she'd want everybody to go around and say what they were doing, for the day and the status of everything. And she meant it to be motivational and kind of like, okay, team, let's go. And I just remember I wanted to say to her, who the fuck do you think you are? Like, I don't answer to you. I don't really, did I miss something here? Are you in charge? I don't quite get why. And then you're asking me about, like the status of things that you're not even involved in. It just, it was a little bit too intrusive. It was kind of, sort of obnoxious. It wasn't overbearing. It's not like she was breathing down my neck, but she wanted me to participate in this. And I was just kind of like, just leave me alone. Like, why am I just, no. So then eventually what would happen was she would come over and ask, are you joining us for stand-up? And I'm like, no. And nobody was really into it. So again, I appreciate her wanting to do the, okay, great. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Okay. And Jeremy, what do you have? I'm just working on the usual, like I'm doing the style guide. That's why I'm here. I'm not one of you. Let me be clear on this. I'm not a 9-to-5 employee. I don't want to participate. I didn't ask for this. You kind of wanted to start this, but this isn't mandated by anybody. This should be voluntary. Don't expect me, don't fucking push me. Go work on your hands and knees with your ruler and put little pencil lines that nobody's going to care about. Fuck off. So I don't think that she lasted there very long, come to think of it. I think that she was one of those people who kind of went from job to job. She meant well. She was very well intentioned, and she was older than the other designers. I think she had kids. She was in her 40s or something at that time. But I think that, yeah, she was a job hopper, which means, people just, I think she clashed would be the way to describe it. Clashed. But I don't, that kind of a work environment is just strange to me. I don't like the whole, okay, let's go team. All right, good. Yeah. Okay. Good meeting, everybody. Good meeting. It's bizarre. And I realize that it's positive reinforcement and it should be, happy. But again, I'm not just an old curmudgeon. I just kind of feel, well, this is my job and I'm here because I like it. So I don't need that extra push, right? Like if it was something that I dreaded, I just wouldn't work there. That's how I am. So it's kind of nauseating to me when there's like a spirit week in an office, right? Oh, we're going to do Hawaiian Day and Cowboy Day and Jeans Day or I don't know what the other dress ups are, Pajama Day and things like that. I have never cared to participate. I'm here to do the job and go the fuck home. I'm here to come in. I don't need to play games to win a $5 coffee gift card. I don't need, the activities. I'm a writer. I'm here to do the fucking work and go the fuck home. That's what it is. But the problem is that when you say that, well, not in those words, right? That would get you sent to HR. But when you have that attitude, suddenly you're viewed as not a team player, right? That's just kind of how things go then. Oh, he's not. Oh, he's just a party pooper. Oh, he's not. No, I'm not 12 years old that I'm at a kid's party and I need to play games and I'm in my 40s. Just, come on. But I realize that it's about employee engagement, right? It's about keeping your staff. But I don't know, that's not motivating to me. Or just like when you hear about, we got, there's beer on tap and there's video games and then there's, this and that. I don't great. But again, I'm not 12 years old. That doesn't motivate me. That doesn't make me feel appreciated. Pay me decently, which I've always... Now, this is the thing, too. I will say this, and my team knows this because I've talked about my previous jobs and writing and whatever, is I don't think that I've ever said that I was underpaid at a job, because this is the one thing about being a writer, is that most of these people, these companies, they know that corporate writing should be an expensive role for them, like on the payroll, but they don't realize that how little work it is sometimes. So I've always said to people, even in workplaces when I've been doing contract work, whatever it is, like I've always said, oh yeah, no, I'm overpaid for what I'm doing here, but whatever, that's what they offered or that's what I came in demanding. It's different though too, right? If you've been in your craft for a while, as I have been, I've been professionally writing for over 25 years. So, that does command a higher salary than somebody who's just out of school. So, it is a little bit different. But I love writing. I loved hosting my radio shows. So that's not something that I wouldn't need to come in and have to have somebody, pep talk me and go, okay, have a good show, like, well, why would I come in knowing that why would I have in my head that it's going to be a bad show or that I'm not going to be good on the show today? And that's not even, like I said, I'm not trying to be a motivational speaker or like, oh, I have this positive life. So I'm just saying, like, where would that come from, right? I don't know. It's the same thing again when I've written at an office or whatever it is, and I've written a blog, and the marketing person or whoever comes over and is like, oh, good job on that blog. It's always seemed very strange to me because people who are not writers, it's almost kind of weird getting critiques from non-writers. There'd be like a big time chef coming over and you kind of going and saying, the glaze on that was a little bit, and they'd be like, who the hell are you? Like, really? So, yeah, again, not to be dismissive of people's, feedback or anything, but it doesn't get me down. I mean, I've written books, best-selling book, whatever it is, and people haven't liked it. It doesn't hurt my feelings if somebody writes a bad review or, sends an email and goes, oh, that was a waste of money, whatever. It's like, whatever. It doesn't bother me. So professionally, I've never needed that motivation. And like I said, I would just get a new job or I'd be doing something different then if that was the case. So tell me what you think about that in workplaces. Do you need the gold stars and the pats on the back and getting a little certificate as employee of the week and all that other stuff? And tell me your age if you do need that kind of thing. The email address is live, L-I-V-E, at jbonair.com. Live at jbonair.com. We'll get to those motivational sayings for your personal life, around the house and, in your day-to-day. We'll get into that on the Scribble right after this.
Who are the Kardashians feuding with now? What did that little thug Justin Bieber do this time? Who's getting hitched? And who's headed for Splitsville? Hear the latest celebrity news and gossip every day on Entertainment Wrap-Up. The good, the bad, the ugly, but mostly the ridiculously hilarious. It's all recapped in this daily segment at entertainmentwrapup.com. Have a laugh at the expense of the rich and famous when they take themselves way too seriously. It's 3 minutes of time-wasting fun at entertainmentwrapup.com. Check out Entertainment Wrap-Up at entertainmentwrapup.com. Brought to you by Speak Free Books.
It's never too early to start thinking about your next holiday. Have you checked out Mexico recently? From tequila tasting, swimming with horses, to ziplining through the jungle and watching whales and dolphins in their natural habitat, Puerto Vallarta has it all. Visit mexico.jbonair.com to see all the fun PV has to offer. That's at mexico.jbonair.com for hundreds of photos, interviews, and videos from around the tourist hotspot. Check out mexico.jbonair.com for all the fun. That's mexico.jbonair.com.
JB here on the Scribble. Are you manifesting today? Are you living your best life? I'm trying to think. There's so many different slogans or sayings or whatever that just make me kind of go, holy buzzwords, Batman. It's saying a whole lot of nothing. That's what it's saying. Manifest. But what does that even mean? Living your best life. Think about that, right? That's a saying that you hear all the time. It really does not mean anything. Actually, my accountant said that to me one day. She was laughing. She's like, "You're living your best life." So what? But right when you break it down, it's basically the person saying, "Okay, so things are going well for you." That's really what it is, right? Like living your best. Because what would be living your worst life? I guess let's break this down. Let me talk it through then as I'm saying it. You've got an illness, right? Or maybe a disease or something that's eating. But again, you're living your life, period. Every day that you're breathing, and do you know what I'm saying? So you're living life, whether you're doing something or not. That's where people would go and say, well, are you living or you're just existing? No. I'm just saying, point is that you're living your life literally means that you are alive today. Whether you make the most of that time, again, is really up to somebody's own, personal thoughts. I think back to when I retired when I was 39. I stopped our radio shows. I had a lot more time, and my mom, she had retired from 30 some years working at a school, but she had said to me, because I wanted to sleep in finally and kind of just slow down and relax, and I remember her saying that. You're just wasting the day. You just wasted, you wake up at noon or something and, you slept through half the day and you just, and I remember thinking, this is not a life that I've led that I'm going to look back, or that anybody who knows me is going to look back and go, he really didn't do much, did he? He didn't really accomplish very much, did he? Because as I've already said, 15 years hosting a syndicated radio show, best-selling books, this great company and a team that I've worked with for 20-some years, our e-commerce stores that are doing successfully for, I guess 7 years, I guess would be 7 and 5 years respectively for our swimwear and coffee company. A husband that I've had in my life for now almost 10 years. And so, I just think that this wasn't, remember, my radio career was not at a company that was paying me a salary or anything like that. This was me carving it out literally from my parents' basement and then building it into a company and, hosting a top 40 show and a country show. And then eventually we turned that into a podcast. And then, being contracted to be an entertainment correspondent for a bunch of the stations broadcasting our things. And then being a newspaper columnist for 20 years. And then turning that into a video series from one of the best-selling books. And then, so I look at that and go, are you saying that I haven't done anything in my life? Really? So you always hear about people saying, I live with no regrets. I'm sitting there going, I'm the one who's taken more leaps and chances in my life than anybody in my family. Everybody kind of went the secure route, which was get a job, work for somebody, and then get your guaranteed paycheck and come home. And I mean, they all had kids. I think I'm the only one, at least on my mom's side of the family. I'm the only one. Oh no, one of my cousins and his girlfriend don't have kids. But my husband and I, we're not breeders. We're not adopters. We've got our pets. But I mean, it's not something I'm going to look back on and go, I really didn't do anything after I retired. It's by choice, let me tell you. So even in retirement, you hear about people getting depressed, right? Because your daily routine, what you've known is completely different. My mom said that she was bored out of her. Now, teachers obviously get months off in the summer, right? Because of the school year. But for some reason, that retirement summer, she made a comment about how she was, bored by week 2 or whatever it was. And I just thought, well, that's on you, though, to get a hobby or travel with. My dad was already retired at that point. So it's like travel with your husband or, just do something. I mean, that's on you. If you're choosing to just be bored and lay around the house and do nothing, well, then that's a decision. Then you do need those motivational posters about, getting through the day and working. But again, I feel like there's nothing wrong with being depressed in your life, but then what are you doing to change it, I guess, would be my question to you. And do those little, here's the thing. I talked about those flip calendars that people have on their desk, like 365, wisdom quotes, whatever. Okay, so let's say that you sit down at your desk. It's on your desk at work. You come in at 8 o'clock or whatever time you start. So you sit down at 8 o'clock. You read it. You flip it to today, whatever, and it says, your destiny is powered by your, I don't know, I can't even think of something, but you know what I'm talking about. Your destiny is, your destiny is your devotion and your, whatever. Okay, so you read that at 8 o'clock, okay? Okay, you read it at 8 o'clock. Tell me what the next 5 minutes. So does that now go and say, yeah, I'm supercharged. Yeah, let's go. Like, walk me through that. So you read it. Fine. Your destiny is your whatever. Okay, great. Perfect. Great. So now it's 8:01. Now where are we? Now what's happening here? Are you feeling tingly inside? What's going on? Did you just feel like you had a shot of Red Bull or like what? And then let me ask you, by 8:15, let's say that, okay, so you leave your desk, you go away, okay? I take a calendar off your desk. Now you come back, you sit down, and I go and say, oh, hey, just wondering, what was today's motivational quote on the calendar? Do you remember what it was? Do you? 8:15? No? Okay. Well, I'll come back at 8:30. I'll ask you again at 8:30, okay? I'll see you. 9 o'clock? I'll come back at 9. See if you can remember it. Tell me what it was, okay? Am I mocking it? Yeah, I kind of am, because it's just like, it goes back to, like I said, the buzzwords. Like, it's emptiness. It's really not anything substantial. I have a cousin who she on Facebook, I laugh at it, but she's constantly reposting people who, I use the word manifest. She's always manifesting love and money and whatever. And I'm thinking, okay, wait a second. She got knocked up by some dude in Amsterdam and is like totally gone. By the way, she's in her 30s. So this isn't just some like 17-year-old kid doing puppy love. This is a grown-ass woman. She's now got 5 kids, and her Facebook page is just reshares or shares, I guess it is. Retweets is something different. Shares on her Facebook page. And it's all of those kinds of things about manifesting love. And I'm sitting there going, but I don't get that, because it's saying that you have it. Because when we see how wonderfully happy you're, the man, he's my everything. He's my savior. First of all, he hasn't even been to fucking Canada to spend time with the rest of your, she goes there and flies there with 5 kids to go. Then I'm thinking, okay, I get it. Yeah, I see. She got knocked up so that she can keep the guy. And then, is he ever going to show his face in Canada? And why isn't he? Is he not allowed in the country? Can he not afford it? Is this just you come and see me? And she thinks that, he's the baby daddy. She's like, how'd that work out? Because the other 4 kids are with some other dude. Anyway, we're not going to get into the family dynamics of this. That's another show. But anyway, my point is that she's always manifesting love. And I'm sitting there going, but you're telling us every day in your posts that you allegedly have it. So why would you be manifesting something that you already have? So that to me says that you don't have love. You don't feel loved, contrary to what you are posting on social media. Now we know what people put forward on social media is that their life is wonderful. Their life is the happiest and the best it's ever been, and blah, 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 blah. So why would you be manifesting love if you have it? And she also manifests about, in the new year, money, wealth in the new year. And I'm just thinking, I hope you don't pay people for this. This reminds me of like one of those TV evangelists that, come on in the middle of the night now, where it's like, just send us $1,000 and you'll be blessed. And I'm sitting there thinking, really? Really? That's all it takes to happen? Just me just giving somebody money will bring good tidings to me. So I return your calendar to your desk now at 9:05 because you haven't told me what the quote was. So you read it again, right? Your destiny is da-da-da-da. Okay, great. Okay. So now you're distracted with work, so it's not like it's ingrained in your mind. And so let me then ask you, do you remember what yesterday's was? Do you? Do you remember what yesterday's was? So what was the point of this desk calendar that maybe it was given to you, but perhaps you spent $15 when you saw it at the card shop, right? The Hallmark store, whatever it was, wherever you get those things. Did it really bring you that motivation and joy? Really? Did it do anything for you? Did it? I would love to prove me wrong. Prove me wrong if it did, because it's strange. And I think the big part of it though is it's the mindset that people get in, because you're expecting this outside force to change your mood. Right? Years ago when I was very desperately single, and I'm talking about when I was still living in my parents' basement, and I wouldn't say that I was man hungry, but I was needing love. I was very empty. And I remember saying to one of my really good friends, who I wanted it to be more, but he didn't. And so we ended up becoming really good friends. And I remember saying to him one time, I need you in my life. And that's where he was actually taking psychology at the time in university. And so he was the one who kind of gave me this verbal smackdown of no. I said, I need you to make me happy, I think is what it was. Wait. I need you to make me, or you make me happy, or something like that. And that was when he went and said, no, you need to make yourself happy. And then conversely, when you pissed me off and you made me angry, or whatever, it was the same thing. He's like, no, you're making yourself angry because you're dwelling on something, or you're reading into it, or you're making it a big issue when it's not. You're doing that, but you're then going to put it on somebody else because, I need you in my life. You make me happy. I need you to make me happy in my life. And he's like, that's a lot of pressure to put on somebody. You have to realize, right? Like that happiness comes from within. So again, I'm not saying that I'm a motivational speaker or, but I look at it and go, he has a point. Because, so let's say that I don't hear from him all of a sudden, right? He moved somewhere and I don't hear from him for 6 months. So what, my life just stops and crumbles and whatever? Or he dies in a plane crash. And now, like, my life doesn't go on because I don't have that. But my life is going to stop because this friend who's a distant, person now is not around anymore. No, I'm the only one punishing myself if I were to do that. And so that's really kind of what made me go and say, if I'm in a situation where it's, if it's a job that I don't like, or if it's, a living situation that I don't feel supported in, or whatever it was, which is living with my parents and, in their basement. And I bought my house when I was 25. So it's not like I lived there until, in my 30s or anything like that. I was out in my mid 20s. Say that, teenagers of today. No, because you'll never own a house, that. But, yeah, I that's where I was kind of like, yeah, any of those sort of words of wisdom and bullshit. And again, maybe it's more home decor. So it's kind of, it's a nice little accent on the wall or something, or it kind of, but I just see those and go, it's just so empty. Manifest, living your best life. Oh, love languages. That's another one. I didn't even know what that meant. Quickly, because we do have to go, but, can I do it now? All right, I'll do it now and then we'll wrap up the show. I had never heard of love languages. I would have to tweet Bachelor and Bachelorette back in the day. And so that was the first time that I'd heard it. And so to hear however many there are, and I was asked at one point what my love language is, and I didn't know what that meant. And then somebody had asked my husband, and he said Portuguese because he's Brazilian, so we really didn't get it. But then when I read about it and I kind of took a deeper dive, I remember looking at that going, that's really just a flashy, trendy way to kind of say what you need emotionally from somebody. Those are kind of like your demands in a relationship. And I actually did make the joke and I said, that sounds like it's single person language. I don't really know. I don't know anybody who's, married 5 or 10 years that can go and say, my love language is such and such. It's single people that talk about it. Sorry, it is. And so when I read about that, I just kind of thought that's really weird that you kind of, people categorize themselves and say, this is my language, meaning like this is what I respond best to, whatever. I mean, it's so strange. And so again, I just sit there and go, that's just a really big expectation that you put on somebody. That's basically you telling somebody what they need to do, what they have to do. It's not you're basically putting out a checklist of your demands as to what they have to do to be in your life. And I mean, relationships are about compromise. So, I would never have thought that I'm going to end up with somebody who's from a different country and a different culture altogether. And, we had language barriers kind of at the beginning and, well, still do sort of, I guess. But, I didn't know. It's not like I manifested love from Brazil, that I manifested the man of my dreams. Oh my God, I would have wanted to punch myself in the face. Are you kidding? I'd be mocking myself online if that's what I was doing. So after all this, let me just say that I don't know. I think people just put too much in. Oh, and another thing was about the book, The Secret. My brother really got into that. And I remember him going and saying that it's about, thinking positively and this and that. And I just thought, shit's going to happen. So me just going and saying, my cell phone isn't going to die today, or my TV isn't going to just stop working today, doesn't make it so. I can think positively that, the weather is going to be nice today, and it's going to pour down rain or whatever. I have nothing to do with it. I've got no control over those kinds of things. So it's not the power of positive thought or anything that some churchy dude is going to tell you. It reminds me of when the pandemic was on, and I remember people in their front windows. I'd be out walking the dogs, and I'd see, remember to pray and whatever. And I'm like, my grandma went to church every week without fail, no matter what. Even after my grandpa died, she would make the trek. She would find a way to get there, and then she was later in a home, and she got corona. And and there was no praying that was saving her. And now I'm not turning this into a religious thing, but what I'm just saying is, what's going to happen is going to happen. Me thinking that, everybody's going to respect me today. Everybody's going to like me today. Everybody's going to be pleasant to me today. I guess maybe to a point I can control that, because if I'm a dick to others, well, then people are going to be a dick right back to me. But the day's going to unfold the way it's going to unfold. I don't know. So tell me your thoughts. I feel like if you listen to my show and you kind of know my personality, and you appreciate it because you've listened this long, you probably agree with me. You're probably not one of those people, unless you're just going to be, rage emailing me after this to tell me what an asshole I am. But I just, I live in the real world. I don't need the, flashy buzzwords and these veils of happiness and whatever. That's why I don't post, every bit of my happiness on social media. There aren't these big happy anniversary to the man I love. My life is so special with you. Blah, blah. I just want to punch those people in the fucking face. I live with my husband. I don't need to publicly, he's not a show pony that I've got to go and, have this performative relationship. And I've said on the show before, I love when those relationships bust up because it's just hilarious to me because everything is for your audience. My relationship is not played out for an audience. Sorry, it's not. I tell general stories here like taking out my fucking retainer or picking his ear, but that's about it. I don't, even when we have an issue at home, which we don't really have fights. Early on in the relationship we did just because we clashed. But when even something happens, again, our group is very close here at this office. I don't come in and go, oh my God, Charles was an asshole and I haven't talked. Oh no, I'm not talking to him today. No, I don't. I don't do that. We have girl talk about stuff, but we don't, no. I don't know. So, and the email address, live, live at jbonair.com, live at jbonair.com. My name is Jeremy Bradley. This is The Scribble. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll talk to you next time. Have a blessed day. Manifest the positive. Bye, everybody.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up The Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com. Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.
If you want some real heat